The next chapter of Rose Hill football begins as a new coach is hired. We talked to Lee Weber about his plan to turn the football program around.
And later, we talked to the leader of the annual Fall Fest about how next year's logo is coming along. These stories and much more on Channel 7 News.
Good morning. I'm Dakota Morgan.
And I'm Sarah Bailey. Lee Weber spent the past 3 years as the head football coach at Wamego High School and 2 years before that at Council Grove, making the playoffs twice.
But now he is head man of the Rocket football program. AJ Taylor has more on the process of hiring Weber, as well as his outlook and philosophy going forward.
Earlier last week, Lee Weber was hired to be the new head football coach for the Rocket football team. In a fun interview with Weber, he said why the Rose Hill job was so appealing.
I guess the big straw for me, it's a football community. Football's important to Rose Hill, and so that's a place I want to be, where the thing I love is important to everybody around me.
He also said that he is ready to coach to the team and is planning to get Rose Hill back to where it was.
You know, my mission statement, I guess, for our football program is the team's first. We're purpose-driven. We expect excellence in everything we do, and we're going to outwork everyone.
Tice Carlson, who is likely to be a starter next season, said he was looking forward to working with Weber. He also said he is excited to have the new head coach and is hoping to bring more wins to the football team.
Well, I feel like he really knows what he's doing. He is very organized as far as I know. I really like the weight program that he's bringing in. So I think he'll be able to bring the success that the school needs.
Athletic Director Jim Lynott said Weber's experience stood out to him the most in the interview process.
I think Coach Weber did a great job of coming in there with a lot of energy. I think he did said all the right things, you know, and talked about the right things, the way he wants to develop the kids and the character of the kids and the program itself. Excited about being a part of Rocket athletics and Rocket football. Also has a lot of experience as a head coach, has been a winner at everywhere he's been. I think he'd be a great asset for us. I think he's going to do a good job and cares a lot about kids and going to work well with our kids to help them improve and to make them better.
AJ Taylor, Channel 7 News.
Ray Bowes and Savannah Fox announced their resignations as math teachers before spring break, which led to the process of hiring new math teachers. Vlad Bunderchuk introduces us to Fox's replacement, Austin Eastman.
For the next school year, a new math teacher is coming to Rose Hill High School. His name is Austin Eastman. Eastman is currently teaching at Wichita Heights. Eastman came to talk to Dan Cole about his job and also sit down with us. One of the things we talked about was why he decided to become a math teacher.
I've always loved math. When I was going through high school, it was always math and science because those are the two things that make sense. You know, English has all these rules, but they break it. And, you know, I've never been an artsy type of person, but math and science have just always made sense. They never lie to you. You learn it, and you just follow the rules, and, you know, you can't go wrong. That's kind of a longer story. I never really wanted to be a teacher until I went to college. They have a class there that puts you in a school your very first year there. So I took that, and I got to teach in elementary school because I wanted to do math, but I didn't know what to do with it. And I fell in love with teaching just the first time I was in there, so it was kind of cool. It kind of showed me that, you know, even though you don't expect to be a teacher, I always said I'm never going to be a teacher, but I actually fell in love with it, so here I am.
Eastman is replacing Savannah Fox, who is leaving to Douglas High School and teaching pre-algebra and algebra 1. Eastman also shared with us about why he chose Rose Hill and what are the differences between a big city like Wichita and a small town like Rose Hill.
I went to Winfield High School. It's kind of, you know, when I was there, we were still in the same league. Well, my wife and I both came from a small town, and we wanted to get back to a small town. Living in Wichita is different. It's very big. We didn't want to go back to Winfield because it's too far away from everything, whereas here you're still only 15 minutes from bigger city life, so with all the conveniences. So it seemed to be kind of the perfect middle ground for us.
Vlad Bondarchuk, Channel 7 News.
Jessica Dutton was also hired as a math teacher At her previous employer, Oxford High School, Dutton was a math teacher as well as head volleyball coach. Dutton will replace Ray Bowes. Coming up next, we take a look at what goes on behind the scenes of creating the 2018 Fall Fest logo as we visit with director Lavina Finders.
And later, Aislinn Roberts sits down with longtime art teacher Ward Hilgers. So stay with us.
Black. Hi, I'm Brock Haskell. We are seniors. We are leaders. Here at Rose Hill High School Residential Carpentry Program, Industrial Tech. I haven't always excelled in a traditional classroom setting, but this hands-on work has really allowed me to blossom. Not only are we succeeding in high school, but this will follow up to jobs after.
With the growing number of accidents occurring at the intersection of Rose Hill Road and 47th Street, the city held a special town hall meeting last week in hopes of finding a resolution to the matter. Dakota has more.
This road right here, 47th in Butler County, has been a subject of much controversy over the past few weeks. Supposedly, there's been many wrecks in this area due to the inherently unruly nature of the intersection. As of yet, no decision has been come to on what should be done about the intersection itself, whether a roundabout should be built or a traffic light installed.
They give us two options on the table. One of them is a two-lane traffic intersection roundabout, and the second option is a traffic signal option.
When asking community members and those who lived in the area, the general consensus of the situation was that the intersection itself was dangerous. However, for many of those who used it in order to drive to school and work, there are concerns with the construction blocking off their main transportation route, especially for the amount of time that it may take to perform such construction.
So what was explained to me was, by this being federal money coming down or available, it would not affect the tax rates. That's one thing that I wanted to note. This came down through the county, through WAMPO, and they've allocated up to, I believe they said, around $8 million. Either case, for the traffic light or the roundabout, the cost would run about $5.5 million, and that would include the approach and everything on that. The additional funding, in my understanding, was to do additional sections of the road up to that $8 million level.
Though, looking into the future, many people hope to see the construction of an apparatus such as a roundabout or traffic light in order to ensure the safety of those who pass through the area. Dakota Morgan, Channel 7 News.
Every fall, the city of Rose Hill gets together for a weekend of carnival, food, and fun. The Rose Hill Fall Fest also has a new logo each year. Sarah investigated how that process came about.
Lavina Finders is part of the Rose Hill Recreational Center, along with being a chairperson of the Fall Festival Committee. About 10 years ago, when Finders joined, the committee started asking locally for ideas regarding the festival. 2018 is the first year they are giving $100 as a prize for the winning entry. There were previous winners, including the Train Tracks, Vintage 70s, and Peace, Love, and Roses. I asked her when they would be deciding on a theme for this year's festival.
Just as soon as the 26th, just as soon as we have our meeting, we will go back, we'll call Chris Went from the Reporter, and she will announce, she'll put in the paper what the theme was. We'll pull in the person who won the theme and have a photo op with them. And then we'll put it out on Facebook and on our website and announce to everyone what the theme is. Then we'll have these go around to everybody so that they can be working on the buttons.
This left me wondering, why would you have a meeting to choose a theme in the beginning of April if the festival is in August?
When school's out in May, it's hard to get everybody's attention. A lot of the submittals we have are from students. So we want to have it before the end of school so that we can get the button contest information to those kids so that they can start working on their buttons and having them turned in. We used to do it later in the summer, and we couldn't get the information out to the kids. The kids just didn't know about it. No one heard about it. They didn't get the forms. So we moved it up so we could actually send them over to schools. Next week is the deadline on the 19th. The week after that, at the Fall Festival committee, the committee meeting on the 26th, all of the committee members, there's about 15 of them, they will vote. We vote on everybody gets to choose 3, and then we take the top 3 of those and choose again.
The winning theme will be used for the Fall Festival Button Contest and will be the official theme for the 2018 Fall Festival celebration. Contact Lavina at the Rose Hill Recreation Commission at 776-9880 if you have any questions. Sarah Bailey, Channel 7 News. Coming up next, will warm weather ever stay here for good? Charlie has your extended forecast.
And later, spring sports are underway. Skylar gives you an update on every program's progression so far. We'll be right back.
Hello, I'm Charlie Conroy, and here is your Channel 7 weather. For our current conditions for today, we started off with sunny, 39 degrees, precipitation chance 3%, humidity 76%, and wind 7 miles per hour. So, not likely to rain this morning. Moving on to today's forecast, we'll start off with a high of 62 degrees and a low of 38 degrees. Wind 12 miles per hour, precipitation 10%, and humidity 47%. So, not likely to rain for today. Moving on to our weekend weather, we'll come to Saturday, which will be raining with a high of 54 and a low of 43. Humidity 67%, precipitation 90%, and wind 18 miles per hour. Extremely likely to rain on Saturday. On Sunday, it will be raining with a high of 56 and a low of 44, humidity 73%, precipitation 50%, and wind 15 miles per hour. So, an extremely rainy weekend. Moving to our 5-day extended forecast, Monday will have a high of 66 and a low of 46, partly cloudy. Tuesday and Wednesday will both be partly cloudy, Tuesday with a high of 67 and a low of 41, Wednesday with a high of 66 and a low of 44. Thursday will be cloudy with a high of 68 and a low of 49, and Friday will be a high of 74 and a low of 53, raining. Up next is a Slim Roberts sit-down with Ward Hilgers.
Hi, I'm Ben Black. Hi, I'm Brock Haskell. We are seniors. We are leaders. Here at Rose Hill High School Residential Carpentry Program, Industrial Tech. I haven't always excelled in a traditional classroom setting, but this hands-on work has really allowed me to blossom. Not only are we succeeding in high school, but this will follow up to jobs after.
Mason Robert, and I'm here with Mr. Ward Hilgers, and we will be talking about the art program he has produced over the years. Okay, Mr. Hilgers, you have been working as an art teacher for a long time now. And exactly how long is that, and why have you been working here for that long?
I don't think I can say exactly, but 30 years sounds close.
All right, but why have you been working here?
Well, I had one job before this school district job, and it was good. It wasn't great. And I wanted to get closer to a bigger city and some of my friends that I went to college with. And this was the first one that was nearby. And the students were really nice. District funded the program better than anywhere I'd looked at. So
Okay.
it stayed that way. So
Yeah. So, after, how much growth have you seen in your art program over the tenure?
a lot. You know. After 3 or 4 years of just getting used to being a teacher, started to focus on how good we were, you know, as artists, young little artists, and it's just gotten better and better. I don't know if I can quantify it. You know, I know that the amount of awards we get kind of reflects how much better our art is. It's not always that way, but sometimes it is. Many times better than when I first got into the high school.
Okay, could you tell us how you developed this your teaching program?
Well, as I became more comfortable with being a teacher, and part of that comes from structure, having more structure as far as rules and things like that, started to focus more on quality and creativity, and that helped the quality of the art. And then I started to look at originality and allowing more students to pursue individual ideas, and have most of my classes be basically large groups of people doing independent study. And when you do that, you get a greater range of ideas. And I go home and I'm more inclined to just daydream about what's happening in the classroom, because everybody's doing different things and they're all kind of cool. Where if everybody was on an assignment and every piece of work sort of looked alike, I probably wouldn't wonder about it very much.
All right.
That's one of the things that's made a really big difference.
Yeah. So, why do you think we get so much awards from this Rose Hill High School?
Well, the longer you do something, usually the better you should be at it. Part of the strategy with the independent study thing is a big part of it, and a lot of it is being confident and in your students being able to pursue their own ideas kind of by themselves sometimes. And I would have to say one of the things that might help a little bit, has helped me as a teacher, is just grading on just effort alone. Might seem sort of like a subjective thing, but instead of telling everybody they have an assignment due in 30 days, I just tell them work hard every day and we'll talk. And things get done when they get done. And a lot of teachers that see me in workshops ask me how we get our pieces done, how long we take on them, and I just say we take as long as it takes. And they go, okay, I understand now. You know, they react like they don't do that. They just tell their students, this is due in a month, I gotta have it on my desk. And I'd rather just have a student's grade be less and not have their work done than have it turn out average.
Okay. So, how much work do you usually put in art shows?
It gets expensive if you've got to pay to enter. Some shows have a limit. In the limited shows, it's 20 pieces or so. When there's no limit, we enter between 60 and 80.
So do college people usually go and look at that art?
Yeah. In the big shows, the teachers come and look at the work, and that's how they figure out who they're going to give scholarships to.
All right. So what do you see in your future for this art program that you've been?
Just keep dreaming, thinking of things that we haven't done and how to make the things we're doing more interesting. Try not to do the same thing more than 2 or 3 years in a row without having it evolve a bunch. Trying to mix different techniques in more, maybe printing and silkscreen, and having Photoshop on the laptops has been really cool too. So it's just made us more diverse.
All right. Well, thank you for your time.
Yes, it was fun.
Welcome back. I'm Skylar Brown, and here are your Channel 7 Sports. Baseball isn't doing that great this season, starting off with an 0-8 record, losing to Andale 1-11 in Game 1 and 1-10 in Game 2, as well as losing to El Dorado 2-10 in Game 1 and 6-8 in Game 2 for the last 4 games. Softball is doing solidly, though, with more momentum than baseball. Our Lady Rockets have a record of 4-6. In the last 4 games, the Rockets beat El Dorado 15-5 in Game 1 and 4-1 in Game 2, but losing to Augusta 3-5 in Game 1 and 7-8 in Game 2. Track is getting some momentum built with competing in the early bird meet, with Winfield, Mulvane, Rose Hill, and El Dorado all competing. The boys placed third, with the girls placing first in the same meet. The boys also placed fourth in the Bell Plain, with the girls placing third. Soccer hasn't kicked off the season the way they wanted, though, with a record of 2-5 with the Augusta game, finishing in overtime with a final score of 1-2, with your Rockets losing that game. Swimming is trying to do better and is off to an okay start, placing 11th at the Wichita Heights Invitational and placing 5th at the Winfield and Newton Invitationals. Golf is off to a decent start, placing 8th against 11 other teams at the Crestview Fairway in Andover. They also played at the Wellington Invitational, placing 4th as well as getting 2nd in the Augusta match. Sarah and Dakota, back to you.
Thanks, Skylar. The last 2 weeks have been difficult for the Rocket Productions family. Micah Streeter, the brother of our executive director Micah Streeter, tragically passed away. We ask that you please keep Micah and the entire Streeter family in your thoughts and prayers in this time of grieving. Adai, you will be greatly missed.